In the harsh winter of 1598, Brother István, a Basilian monk stationed at the remote monastery of Szent Ver in northern Hungary, was sent to a mountain village deep in the Book Hills to investigate a reported miracle, an incorruptible saint's body unearthed during the reconstruction of an old ossuary. The village, called Hollószentek, the Hollow Saints, had remained largely cut off due to the snow, and the letter requesting ecclesiastical investigation arrived weeks after it had been written. The following is a transcription of Brother István's account, found in his blood-stained journal, recovered from a collapsed chapel in Hollószentek months later. I departed the monastery on the eve of Candlemas, under skies the color of old iron and wind that groaned like a dying man. The villagers of Banrev told me not to go, crossing themselves and refusing to even say the village's name. One woman whispered, "They do not pray to God there, not anymore." The journey took 2 days on foot through dense forest and ancient, crumbling trails. On the second night, I reached the outer edge of Hollószentek. The village lay sunken in a narrow valley, the roofs of its houses black with soot and its chapel crooked and decayed. Not a soul came to greet me. Only a great iron bell rang once, deep and distant. As I entered the village, a child appeared at the corner of one house, pale, eyes gray and sunken, hair hanging in limp ropes. She said nothing, only stared. When I asked for the parish priest, she pointed to the chapel, then vanished behind the door. Inside the chapel, I met Father János, a gaunt man whose eyes flinched at every candle flicker. He led me beneath the chapel to a cramped ossuary. The air was heavy and bitter with mold and old blood. There, in the center, lay the incorrupt body. I gasped. The saint was not laid out like the preserved remains I had seen in Rome, displayed in golden reliquaries. No, this body had been curled, knees to chest, in an ancient birthing posture. Its skin was ashen but intact. The eyes were open, and it grinned, a wide, too-deep grin that reached the cheeks as if carved by some mocking sculptor. I asked whose remains these were. Father János hesitated, then said, "We call him the Hollow Saint. He was found during renovations, buried in the old foundation. The villagers. They say he was the first priest here, burned as a heretic long ago. I demanded why they would venerate a heretic. János replied, 'He does not rot. He whispers. They believe he protects the village.' That night I was given a small room in the chapel to sleep. I lit a candle and prayed the Psalms, but a dreadful unease filled me. My candle hissed and flickered constantly, despite the windows being sealed. At some point, I fell asleep and dreamed. I stood at the foot of a dead tree. Beneath it, the Hollow Saint sat, still curled, eyes open, teeth gleaming. Around him danced the villagers, naked, chanting in a tongue I did not understand. The child I'd seen earlier stood among them, her eyes now hollow and black. She pointed at me and said in a voice that was not hers, "He eats what is left behind by the soul." I woke with blood in my mouth. Over the next day, I wandered the village. None of the villagers spoke to me. They watched me through windows, eyes dull and expectant. Every house displayed a symbol above the door, an eye with 7 lashes. When I asked Father János about it, he paled. "It is the eye of Istar," he said, "an old god. The villagers believe it watches over them and over the Hollow Saint." That night, I confronted János. "You permit heresy. You defile this chapel by keeping that thing beneath it." He wept. "I tried to leave. I tried to burn the body. But the saint, it speaks to us, to all of us, even me. I see his smile when I close my eyes. He calls himself Szárkányok. He is no man. He is older. He came before the cross. I resolved to return to the monastery the next morning, but in the night, the bell rang again. Once. I awoke to silence, then screams. I ran outside. The village square was filled with villagers on their knees, weeping and praying in that same ancient tongue. In the center stood the hollow saint, not lying but standing, eyes glowing faintly, smiling. He was hollow. His chest was a cavity, open like the ribs of an old ship. Inside, a blackness deeper than shadow writhed and pulsed. It sang, a deep, humming sound that made my teeth ache. The villagers chanted in rhythm with the sound. One by one, they approached and placed their hands into the saint's chest, and when they did, they changed. Their eyes turned black, their mouths split wider. They laughed and screamed at once. Then they fell, dead. I ran into the forest. I don't know how long I wandered. I dreamed while awake. I saw Janos nailed to a tree, singing hymns backward. I saw the child following me, mouth full of dirt and worms. I saw the hollow saint walking behind me, never gaining ground, never falling back. When I collapsed, I expected death. Instead, I awoke in the monastery infirmary. A search party had found me a mile from the village, half dead. They said Hollószentek had burned. When they arrived, the chapel and all homes were ash. There were no survivors, no bones. Only one thing was found intact in the ruins, a statue. It was of a man curled in the fetal position, grinning. The order placed it in the reliquary, unaware of what they had done. But I know, because at night, I hear the hum again, and he is smiling. End of Brother István's journal. The statue was moved to a secure location in Esztergom. It remained under study until 1923, when it reportedly vanished during renovations. No official record of its destruction exists. Several monks who handled it were later committed to mental institutions for mutism, insomnia, and violent seizures.